Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Qayyum, and at this channel of professional management consultants, we are talking about various topics, various skills, various challenges which the finance professionals are facing in the corporate sector, and the skills and expertise which are important for them. So, our today's topic is the skill we are going to talk about today is storytelling. Storytelling in business. Um, Storytelling is all about audience. I mean, this is a way of conveying our message in such a way uh, so the audience can understand it. The audience can, um, we will understand like this in storytelling is all about audience. And in this storytelling, the we have to portray the facts and the figures in such a way that the audience could have a better understanding of it. I mean, instead of the raw figures, in the shape of story, they can have the better understanding and they can memorize it. We have to associate with it some incidents, like they can memorize it through them. And finally, they can act upon it, and it should compelling the actions of audience. So this is if we can want to define the storytelling, it's all about audience. See, if we talk about its history, storytelling is the God's way to tell, to teach human beings, to tell the things to human beings. If we talk about I mean, Allah teaches us many stories in Quran. Surah Yusuf is a story of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. Surah Yunus is a story of Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam, and the many other stories. In Surah Yasin, Allah telling us the story of some villager peoples. And even from a pre-Islamic times to the present day, all Muslim societies have been shaped by the orality in the form of tales, fables, myths, legends, and narratives. Like a big story is Karbala. They are the true stories, but they are teaching us a lot. I mean, Qasasul Anbiya, Allah is teaching us through these all stories. So if we say that the storytelling is Allah's way to teach the human being, it's a natural way to understand the things, the stories. So if we talk about how I understand, this is how I learned the storytelling. I'll share a little story with it. Like when I was young, I mean, it's in my 20s or 15s, 15 to 20 years. So we had a cow, and one day the cow got sick, and I called the vet, and the vet examined it and suggested that these are the pills you have to give it to cow, two pills in the morning and two pills in the evening. So what happened if someone of you is also from villager background, then he will understand that how easy it is. I mean, how difficult it is to give pills or some medicine to animals. So what I did, I called one of my friend to help me, and we tied the cow with the tree, and he hold the cow, and I opened her mouth and put the pills in her mouth and hold it for a while so the cow can swallow it. But after few minutes, when I left her mouth, the pills were out. So this story was going to repeat, and one of my uncle was passing by, and he said, okay man, why you are troubling cow and yourself? It's a quite easy. So I said, how it is? He said, okay, bring some to bread, huh? In the bread. And he took one bread and wrapped up the two pills in that bread and gave it to cow. And the cow ate it like yum, 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 yum. So it swallowed that pills very easily. So in the same way, if we talk about in the business, what we are going to do, we are giving the boring figures to the management, to the other stakeholders, whoever I am, we are addressing. We are giving them boring pills, boring figures or boring pills in such a way that they can swallow it, they can understand it, they can memorize it, and they can act upon it. So basically, what does the stories do? Stories humanize the businesses. They make a connection. Stories create purpose and compel actions. Stories evoke emotions and can inspire us to take actions. So and that other at last story things stories makes things stick. I mean, stick to one incident, and they associate the things. See, there are two sides in our mind. One is a logical side and one is an emotional side. So basically, facts and figures are enough for logical side, but we are connecting the emotional side by telling the stories and by compelling the stories. So this is what the stories do. I mean, this is what the stories do with our with us human beings. So in business, numbers always have an important story to tell. In our accounts and finance field, we are always playing with the figures, playing with the numbers. So numbers are always have a story to tell, but they rely on us to give them a clear and convincing voice. It is said by Stephen Few. So we have to give them a voice. We have to give these boring figures a voice. Why do we need to tell stories? Don't numbers speak for themselves? This is a question. So basically, we accountants are fluent in the language of accounting, which is you know I mean the debit credit, which is a foreign language for most of our clients. Like it's like Chinese for them. So, but for Chinese, there will be some Pashto or something, some other language. So they what they don't understand. So we see the meaning in the we mean the accountants. They see meaning in the balance sheet and appreciate the beauty of a set of perfectly reconciled books. But to our clients, it's just a baffling mess of numbers. So they couldn't get it. I mean, they couldn't get the message from it. And in even the today's environment, technology is changing our all the work we are doing. Artificial intelligence, bot machines, and machine learning and automation, and even this robotic process automation means that repetitive number crunching pieces of our job, which the mostly but not mostly the but most of us are doing the same number crunching. So these technologies taking away is, I mean, with this job, technology is doing this very well. Now even the unstructured data, there are the software who can understand the unstructured data. So you don't need to read and to enter the data in the system. So everything, there are the softwares who are converting this unstructured data into structured data. So these robotic process automations are also there. So what's left for us now? What's so everything which the robots can't do. I mean, the robots can't tell the stories. So we have to be the storytellers. That means we need better communication skills now. Even for account, if we think of an accounts finance professionals 20 years back, that was okay if he's don't have some better communication skills. But now we need to be a good storytellers. That will that this is the only way we can excel in our fields now. And role of we talk about the role of management accountants in this current era. There is a transformation from number cruncher to a storyteller. Data analysis, forecasting, and visualization tools such as dashboarding have enabled a redefinition of management accounting to be more strategic, engaged, and in its own way, a source of leadership. Data is still critical, but today's management accountant needs to be able to create business value from this data. I mean, we are not the postman, like we will figure out these figures and transfer it to and convey it to management or something like that. We have to create the business value. How we can create business value? Through this storytelling, through the narrative building. We will build the narratives. We will make the stories from out of this data. We will compare it with the others. and the many other techniques also. So we are the one who are the value creators nowadays. We are not like only the figure crunchers, and we are presenting the beautiful balance sheets and like this. So this is there is a new transformation in the role. So basically, the finance people need to talk to the language of the business rather than getting people to understand the financial jargons. I mean, if someone is not aware of this debit and credits, okay, it's okay. We have to tell him what's the business and what's the things are going on. So this is what the this is a transformation which we have to tackle now. So how to develop a story? So to develop a story, there are a few elements I will discuss, like which are the core elements for you. So first of all, include a human element. I already talked about that we have to connect the emotional side of brain with the logical side of brain. So we have to put some human element in it. Be authentic, stories should be authentic. And the be relevant, it should be relevant to the purpose. I mean, the about which we are going to make a decision, and that should be relevant to about them. And the stories should be compelling. We should craft in such a way that it should compel to some action. There should be defined some destination, and uh, these actions should be the stories should inspire actions as well. So in the next slide, I'll show you that out of this, we have seen this Excel sheet like our typical balance profit and loss account. But here is a story of this profit and loss account. See, in the left side, there was a budgeted net profit, 4.8 million. And then it was increased by 2.5 million through price variance. So this graph is telling all the story about 6 months of a company. So what it is doing, the budgeted profit was 4.8 million, and out of this budget we have some price variance. Prices are increased, so we got some I mean favorable variance, price variance 2.5 million. So it went up, and then but unfortunately we couldn't sell the volume, and volume variance is 7.76 million. And then general and admin expenses, they are the too much, they are increased, and they have reduced the profit by 2.5 million. Then there is other income is a very nominal, and then selling and distribution also, selling and distribution expenses as well are increased, and they have also reduced our profit by 1.7 million. And then finance cost is also increased, and it is negatively affected, adversely affected our profits, and it has reduced by 1.2 million. So after all these adjustments, we are standing at 1.03 million profit. Budgeted was 4.8, and then price variance, we get an hike, and then due to these expenses and less volume, we are at this stage of 1.032 million. So it's very easy to understand the performance of a I mean half an year. And in this way, other than the like this only this boring figures. This is an example of cash management. This is a simple quick ratio, current ratio, and graphs. And this is also a story. This is this is a basically it's interesting way to present the information. And days payable outstanding is 30, and days sales outstanding is 25. So we can get our all cash cycle and this cash flow example of this story. So this was all about the telling the stories, and now we will talk about the selling the stories. So this is a story of the Google. We are all well aware of this Google. So these two guys in the picture, if you can see, these two guys, I will show you. This Larry Page and this guy Sergey Brin. They are the basically inventors. They are the programmers who went with an idea like to this guy, this Andy Bechtison, who was the one of the first investors in Google, invested $100,000. So these two guys came up with the story to this Mr. Andy Bechtison. What is Google? Google is just a search engine. There is no physical existence or something like that. They come up with the story. They told him like that we are going to make a search engine like this who will connect all the information, and it will work like this way, that way, and how it will be beneficial, and how like this. So the story was authentic, story was relevant, the story was compelling the action, and he when they left the room, he signed the $100,000 check. So on the based on just one story. In the same way, to nowadays, people are also telling us many stories. They are trying to sell us the stories in this way. Like many of us have seen the ads in the newspaper, like a beautifully fully furnished studio like this picture, on 11th floor, book only by paying 20%, pay 1% monthly. And there is a very small note, footnote, like this: possession is expected in December 2023. Today we are standing at 2022. So basically, when you go to the actual land, there is nothing, just sand. So basically, they are selling only the dream. They will tell you that here we will build the story, here we will build like this, here will be the studio apartment, here it will be the washroom, here will be the living room. It's like that. So they are just selling us the stories. So if we stand it today, this is about the future. They are just selling us the dream of a beautiful studio. So today is just a dream in the picture below we can see. So that's all from my side. If you find anything, if you want to discuss anything about storytelling, you can we can discuss in the comments. So I will reply with it. Thank you very much. Stay blessed, stay happy always.